আসসালামু আলাইকুম, আমি ওয়ালিদ আলবাস। আপনারা দেখছেন ওয়ালিদ এক্সপ্লেন। চলুন সরাসরি আজকের পর্বটি শুরু করা যাক। কেন বিশ্ব নেতারা শয়তানের পূজা করে? অনেক ডকুমেন্টারি এই বিষয়কে ব্যাখ্যা করেছে। অনেকে ইলুমিনাটি এবং সিক্রেট সোসাইটিকে এক্সপোজ করেছে, কিন্তু যারা গভীর পর্যন্ত গিয়েছে কেবল তারাই জানে যে একটি শয়তানি কমন গ্রাউন্ড সব সিক্রেট সোসাইটিকে যুক্ত করে রেখেছে। কিন্তু কেউ কি আজ পর্যন্ত এই ব্যাখ্যা করেছে যে এই এলিটরা কেন এই অন্ধকারের পথ বেছে নিয়েছে? কজন এটি ব্যাখ্যা করেছে যে কেন এই স্বশিক্ষিত লোকেরা শয়তানকে পূজা করা বেছে নিয়েছে? এটি বরং আরও একটি ধাঁধা যা আমরা আনকভার করব। এটি নিশ্চিত করব যে দি অ্যারাইভাল সত্যি এক অসাধারণ এক্সপেরিয়েন্স। এই পর্বগুলো কাউকে ভয় বা আতঙ্কগ্রস্ত করতে তৈরি করা হয়নি, বরং আপনার প্রকৃত সত্যকে চেনার জন্য তৈরি করা হয়েছে। কারণ কেউ অকাল জাদুবিদ্যা অথবা বৈশ্বিক কনস্পিরেসিকে বুঝবে না যদি না সে এর পরিচালক শক্তিকে বুঝতে না পারে। এই নিদর্শনগুলো আপনার আশেপাশেই রয়েছে।
Also in the street plan of Washington you find pentagrams. So here we have two pentagrams in the street plan of Washington. The top one points into the Capitol building and the one at the bottom points into the White House.
আপনি কি ওয়াশিংটন ডিসি এর ফ্লোর প্ল্যানগুলো দেখেছেন?
This is a political building, so we're told. In fact, it's a temple to a secret society built by the Freemasons to a specific design, Congress, the Congress building. Where did it get its name from? Capitol Hill, from a sacred place of the Roman Brotherhood going way back called Capitoline Hill. And when Madeleine Albright, high priestess of this brotherhood, became Secretary of State, and she went across on her first overseas visit to Europe, she actually went to Rome and made an official visit, what for her would have been a pilgrimage to Capitoline Hill in Rome, and that's where we get Capitol Hill from. This is George Washington. In the last century they decided they didn't have a decent statue of George, so instead of getting an American to produce one, they ordered it from Italy, from Florence. And when it arrived on the dockside, people were staggered, because here was George, the first president of the United States, depicted naked from the waist up with this cloth over his Bill Clinton's, and then pointing up one arm, pointing down the other. What's going on? Unless you realize where these people are coming from, it's inexplicable. Well, if you just hold that in your mind, arm up, arm down, naked from the waist up, and then Bill Clinton's covered in a piece of cloth, well, this is where it's coming from. This is the ancient depiction of the compilation of the negative force symbol that the Templars worshipped, or the high-level Templars worshipped anyway, called Baphomet. And this is why that they depicted George Washington in that way.
স্যাটানিস্টরা আমাদের দুনিয়া পরিচালনা করছে। কেন? তাদের ধর্মে অকাল্ট এবং সিক্রেট মিটিং আর উপাসনা দিয়ে ভরা। কারণ যদি মানুষ একবার বুঝতে পারে যে শয়তান এক্সিস্ট করে, তাহলে তারা বুঝে যাবে যে ফেরেশতা, নবী এবং ধর্ম এগুলো সবই এক্সিস্ট করে। তাহলে কেন সিক্রেট সোসাইটি খোদার বদলে শয়তানের উপাসনা করে?
What has come to light is that it's now been, it's sort of, it is not so surprising for a lot of people that there are covens amongst the very educated class, architects, doctors, lawyers, priests, brokers, and the leisure class.
These are people who have made pacts with the devil.
That's right. It's really the best, the more accurate way of describing it would be that they have indulged themselves in the worship of the goat, of the prince, of the serpent, of Satan, of Lucifer, and they lead perfectly normal lives. They're jewel merchants. They travel. They're prominent in their own way, but they do have this indulgence.
Father, here's a part of that I can never understand. that has never made sense to me. And that is, if somebody were to make a pact with the devil, then obviously the implication is if the devil is there to make a pact with them, to make a deal, to make their life, their short mortal life on earth, pleasurable, with money or women or travel,
more interesting,
or more interesting, whatever it is they want.
Yes.
Then they are aware of the presence of the devil, and they are obviously aware then of the presence of God as well, and they nevertheless make a conscious, stupid, short-term, blind choice to take what they can get in this lifetime. And to embrace one, you must embrace the other. It's not like it's some wishy-washy person.
I know you do. It is very not easy to understand, except when you talk with them, when they let their hair down and peel grapes, as we say, and when they're on their way to being cured of what or healed is the proper word. You find that there's an exhilaration and a satisfaction which is both sensual and sexual and mental when they really indulge in Luciferian worship. There is a peculiar exhilaration.
Like a drug, then?
Yes, it's a peculiar exhilaration. And of course, the godly instincts in us all, the angelic in us all, because we all have something angelic and something godly, besides everything else, a lot of other negative things, that is quenched. And you find in them a horror of anything, what we call sacred and holy, or sacrosanct, or the idea of the sacred, of the awesome.
তাই আপনি যখন এই এলিটদের ভয় পাচ্ছেন, মনে রাখবেন উল্টো তারা আপনার পবিত্র গ্রন্থ এবং খোদার উপর আপনার ঈমানকে ভয় করছে। অর্থাৎ তাদের ভালোমতো বাঁচার এবং প্রভাবশালী হওয়ার একমাত্র উপায় হলো আপনার জীবন থেকে পবিত্র জিনিসগুলোকে উঠিয়ে নেওয়া। এর কারণে এর নাম দি নিউ সেকুলার অর্ডার, অর্থাৎ ধর্মনিরপেক্ষ ব্যবস্থা। আর এই জায়গাতেই অন্য সব নিউ ওয়ার্ল্ড অর্ডার ডকুমেন্টারিগুলো ফেল করেছে। তাই এথিস্টদের বলতে চাই, আপনারা তাদের এই সেকুলার প্রজেক্টের সফল ফলাফল। আর সব ইসলাম বিদ্বেষীদের বলতে চাই, তোমরা কেবলই জায়ানবাদী প্রজেক্টের ফলাফল। কারণ দাজ্জালের তৈরি হওয়া এই দুনিয়াতে পবিত্র জিনিসকে উপহাস করা হবে। এটি সত্যি যে আজকের যুগে আমাদের ধর্মীয় ব্যবস্থা কিছু ত্রুটি আছে, কিন্তু এই ত্রুটিগুলোকে কে তৈরি করেছে বলে আপনার মনে হয়? তাই আপনার যা বিশ্বাস করতে মন চায় তা করুন, আর যা বলতে মন চায় বলুন। শুধু মনে রাখবেন এটাই সে নতুন ধর্মনিরপেক্ষ ব্যবস্থা, আর আপনাদের সবাইকে এই ব্যবস্থায় স্বাগতম। আসুন আমরা এখন দেখি এত সব সুনামধন্য ব্যক্তিরা পর্দার আড়ালে কি করে।
How in the world did you ever get involved in praying to demon spirits?
A fellow that had been on a particular ship with me, he told me, "Hey, I got something fantastic to tell you." He said, I am affiliated with people that speak with the spirits of the dead. How would you like to talk to the spirit of your dead mother? And I was shocked. I was shocked. He said, you wouldn't be afraid of talking to the spirit of your dead mother, would you? Well, I said, I'll tell you what, I would have to give that some thought, because it's something I never thought about before in my life.
Most of us probably haven't. A little afraid of something like that.
Well, he says, you know, it's written all over your face. You're afraid of going to a seance. But he says, I know you. He said, you're going to come. And then he started telling me how brave I was when I was aboard ship, you know, different things. He says, you're not the same man, you've changed. You're chicken. That's all I needed to hear. I said, when do we go to a seance? So one Saturday evening, we were in the place. It was the very first time, very beautiful. The place, the medium, was a lady. She had a gorgeous new home in Montreal. And there were about 20 invited guests there, which I was one of them. And she communicated with the spirits for there's different people there. And they're telling them what the spirit said. One man said, I would like to talk to my friend that died 6 months ago. But I don't want him to appear. Just want to talk to him. Because he says, I don't trust you talking to my friend for me. So the medium says, let me inquire of the spirit. Yeah, the spirit will talk with you. And that big masculine voice was heard in the place. It says, hi Frank, it's nice of you to ask for me to talk with you. And they had a little chat. And after it was over, Frank says, this is the greatest thing on earth, to be able to talk with the spirits of the dead. Then the medium said, we have a very special surprise tonight for you people. A spirit will manifest itself openly here in a few minutes, and it's like a big gust of wind hit the building and right through the wall. Now the lights were terribly bright, but they were like living room lights, a couple of floor lamps, maybe some of these, and that translucent being seemed to come right out of the wall.
How did you feel right at that moment?
It's almost like my heart stopped a little bit, very weird feeling. It was a lady in a beautiful evening gown, floorling, and she said to Mary, my dear sister, you are so wonderful to have asked for me. And Mary fainted and fell right off her chair on the floor. And a couple of guys jumped up and picked her up, and it's very gone. That was the beginning of it.
That's how you got into it.
Yeah, that's the way I got into it. After a while, you see, there's something interesting about the human mind. You can adjust an awful lot of stuff. You can adjust to a lot of things that would terrify you to begin with. After a while, they become common and ordinary.
So you mean contact with the supernatural can become commonplace and ordinary and doesn't bother anybody?
Yeah.
In other words, the more that you do it, you're not uncomfortable.
That's right.
It's just not an uneasy feeling.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about it?
Then I got into a secret society that worshiped the spirits, you see.
Well, how is that different from the seance, Roger?
It happens that the seance are not involving in many ways. But when you get into a secret society of spirit worshippers, then, and especially when you're invited there by the direction of the higher ups in the spirit world, you never get out of there alive. And it's exactly what my friend and I were up against. We didn't know anything about. And there was a very, very popular big band leader,
jazz musician.
band, very famous. And one night we went to one of these seances, and he was with his wife.
So Roger, you're at this restaurant. What happened?
We sat there, and we had our favorite alcoholic beverages, And as we talk, the band leader says, I want power. I go right to the source of power. And he says, how do you think that I became famous the way that I am? Well, I said, you must have had some good luck. Well, he says, there's no such thing as good luck. He says, there's either some power working for you somewhere, or you don't get ahead in this world. Not in my type of occupation. So it went from there. We got talking about spirit worship.
Did it intrigue you? Or did it make you want to find out more about what exactly he was talking about?
Yeah. So he said the supposed spirits of the dead that you're talking with are demon spirits. They're fallen angels. They're beautiful beings.
Just set it out, just like that.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't make you uneasy when he said they were
Well,
demons?
it shocked you a little bit, you know. Something that you first hear mentioned to you. He said, you guys have got a great future ahead of you. Because we've been told, the high priest of our society, secret society, has been told that the master has very special plans for you too.
Now, what did he mean by the master?
Satan. And we were interested to hear more about it. And he told us, he says, look, we worship spirits. We worship Lucifer and all his angels. It's just as beautiful as they did before they were cast out of heaven. He says there was a misunderstanding in the whole thing. He says among the inhabitants of the galaxies. And he says our master was misunderstood. And God did not bear with him like he does with people that make mistakes today. So we're in a warfare, good against evil. And we happen to be the evil ones, but we're not that bad. He says, I look at this business between the forces of good and evil. He says, you believe in one person believe in God, and everyone believe in Lucifer. It's like politics.
So the great controversy is real. And you heard someone talk about it that's on the other side.
And through these people, they are sold to the fact that Christ will not return to this planet with power and great glory. He's going to abdicate all claims to the planet, because the high priest once said that Christ will abdicate all claims to the planet because he knows that it is lawfully and rightfully Satan's. And at that time he says, so the priest says, well now, he says, for those of you that are new, let me tell you that this is the most feasible way, he says, to please the spirits is to deride Christ and his people, you know, and his church and all that. So they sing out of Christian hymnals.
They didn't sing Christian words to the hymns, however.
Well, they changed a lot of them. Yeah.
And not for
it's a form of blasphemy. Yeah. Such as you see today in the rock music world. You see the entertainers, they have these crosses. The ladies got earrings, crosses. The guys got crosses. This is a form of blasphemy, a form of deriding Christ. You see. Spirits cause the people to do that, to find pleasure in wearing this type of emblem, which is the cross is the emblem of the crucifixion of Christ to the Christians.
আর আমাদের বেশিরভাগ নেতারাই এই সিক্রেট সোসাইটির অংশ।
Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven, is that it?
Why not? I'm here on the ground with my nose in it since the whole thing began. I've nurtured every sensation man has been inspired to have. I cared about what he wanted, and I never judged him. Why? Because I never rejected him. In spite of all his imperfections, I'm a fan of man. I'm a humanist. Maybe the last humanist. Who, in their right mind, Kevin, could possibly deny the 20th century was entirely mine?
মুভিতে কিয়ানু রিভসের চরিত্রটি কিভাবে চেকার ফ্লোরে দাঁড়িয়ে আছে সেদিকে মনোযোগ দিন।
It's my time.
আমাদের সাথে যুক্ত থাকুন, মাত্র তো সবে শুরু। ভিডিওটি ভালো লাগলে অবশ্যই লাইক, কমেন্ট আর সাবস্ক্রাইব করে আমাদের কাজের মূল্য দিবেন।